Hey, encouragers, welcome to another episode of Encouragement. I'm Nathaniel Bickley. Let's get started. This week, I have got a story that I wanted to address, and it is near and dear to my heart. Without being political, I support our law enforcement professionals in whatever aspect of the profession they work in, whether it be corrections or roadside. And this particular story comes out of New York. And it was just one of those things that I just wanted to highlight to encourage people this week that law and order is one of those things that a society, a healthy society, should want to see prevail. And in this particular story, New York, as well as places all across the United States, as far as I know, have been suffering as far as recruitment numbers for law enforcement officers. And there, with some exceptions, there are a lot that have been compromising safety, security, and other services. And society hasn't really felt all of the depth at which they are lacking protection. And I fear that that may be something we may be encountering in the next, couple of years if that's something that isn't brought under control. Although there are signs that it is starting to turn, people are realizing. But with crime rates and various heinous activities, it has taken a while, a lot longer than I expected, for people to address this issue. So I'm going to play a little bit of this clip for you, just to give you kind of a summary of these corrections officers in New York who are striking, and then I'll give you some context afterwards.
1, 2, 3, 4. We will never 24. 1, 2, 3, 4. We will never 24. 1, 2, 3, 4. We will never 24.
My name is Danny Texador. We're out here in support of all our brothers in blue statewide, all right, to let the state know that we are tired of the abuse. We need more people. We need better safety, all right, for ourselves and for everybody that's inside that facility, whether they work there or they are housed there. I'm a correction officer. I'm a weapons training officer. I'm a former union steward, all right? The union has not condoned this, all right? And I had to make sure that I exercise my right as a member because I truly believe this is needed. We need the state to understand that this is serious. Our safety, all right, is in doubt. Every day we walk inside those walls, we have no idea if we're gonna come out walk out the same way that we walked in. We have to let them know that this cannot keep going on. 24 hours shifts is not safe, all right? We have people who go home, they get into car accidents because they fall asleep at the wheel. We have people whose health, all right, is deteriorating because we're always here, all right? We don't have the ability, to eat good food. We have to eat fast food all the time because we're always on the go. We're always, stuck here. We can't spend time with our families. We can't see our families. Our medical, is going up, right? But at the same time, our health is going down. So we need them to know that this is a very serious situation for us. The reality is, all right, that without them offering better contracts, we're never going to get anybody to take this job.
So as you can see there, they're protesting and they're, discussing unsafe conditions, and without getting into the intricacies of how jails operate and those kinds of things, without giving anything away, not giving the incarcerated any ideas. But there are some very interesting things I'd like to point out here. And one of them is that when you have understaffed positions in a correctional facility, let's say you don't care about the blue. It's not just the officers who are suffering, it's the inmates and those they are supervising that are suffering because they're not getting the direct care or treatment and attention in various ways that they need. While incarcerated, they're completely dependent on correctional staff to provide them from their basic necessities to all their mental health and social needs. And it's one of those things that a lot of people and leadership across the board do not take very seriously, or they're too far removed from it to really realize what's going on at times. And you'll see in a lot of these states and various institutions across the US are starting to realize this, and it's a good thing. And so for me, I see it as the opportunity for a positive change, and it'll benefit a lot of people across the board. Hopefully, as sentiments towards law enforcement in general across the United States and the military included, have shifted more positive with this recent change in federal leadership. I am encouraged, and I hope you are too, that you will start to see improvement in services as staffing numbers increase. But it's gotten so bad in New York, apparently, that Kathy Hochul to call in the National Guard to address other needs like healthcare and utilize many more resources that the National Guard offers. They're not just a security force, as a lot of people have imagined who don't really know. But it's one of those things that I was encouraged to see. It is some action. It may or may not be late. I don't know. I'm not boots on ground there. But it is good to see that some action is being taken and hopefully some positive change comes out of all of it. I know one thing that most people don't know is, as a correctional officer or a law enforcement officer, you really don't have the right to go on strike. You are basically required to be there or quit. Some cases of quitting, you can pick up extra charges. Not even if you didn't do anything particularly unlawful, it's considered an abandonment issue, and there can be legal ramifications depending on the context. That would be really hard to prove in court, but it is something to be aware of. And so it's not like most jobs where it's like, I can walk out of McDonald's and that's it. So I would encourage you all this in the weeks to come, and as these changes come, that you support your law enforcement fellows, whether they be in correction, and the roadside has problems of its own, that you would encourage those around you to support them as well. And at least I'm encouraged this week, and I hope you are too, that at least in New York, and I know a few places here in Washington, are starting to take steps towards supporting law enforcement as necessary. So I hope this week that you remember to be supportive, and I hope you stay safe. And if you can't stay safe, I hope that some of the boys in blue are there for you. And may you be blessed, and I'll see you guys next week.